Hi everyone, can you hear me? Welcome to our webinar Wednesday. Today's topic is on inspector. So we have started already. For those of you, I see that some of you were asking on the live chat whether we started already. So yes, we have officially started now. We were waiting for a few more people to come in before we get started. So let me know if you still cannot, you can see me moving, but you can't see anything, you can't hear me, okay? But you should be able to hear me by now, okay? So, so all of you, yeah, can hear, Good, 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 thank you, thank you. Okay, let's get started proper. Today's topic is on inspector, and this is one of our most popular tools in EdgeProp, okay? So we do even have people just subscribing just for this tool alone, and you can use inspector for all property types, okay? What I understand is some of you might think that, oh, inspector can only use for landed. Yes, it is very good for landed, but you can also use it for other property types, and it is also very useful, okay? So let's get started officially. For today's training, because we have quite a bit of people on board with us, I will not be sharing the login details so that we don't have too many people accessing the website at one go. But for those of you who already have an account, then okay lah, just proceed with that. Okay, now if you are on the website, it would be the tool called inspector. Okay, let me just quickly show you first. Okay, so just a quick disclaimer on what we're showing you. Okay, so just read yourself lah. Okay, now very importantly, these are your account managers. Okay, you must know them and you should be taking down their contact details. Okay, they would be the best people or best person for you to reach out to in the case whereby you need any form of help. Not just for signing up or renewing, but also if you need help, which tool should I be using? Seems like I'm facing some issues here. You can look for them as well, okay? Of course, sometimes they would be busy with appointments or phone calls, so an alternative contact method would be the office hotline, which is on the top left-hand corner of the page, okay? So this one is only during office hours 9 to 5, 62328688. Those would be my admin who will be picking up, and she'll be able to assist you guys as well. Okay, so depending on which agency you are from, look for your assigned account manager. Alternatively, you can also call our office hotline. Okay, now before we get started on the tool itself, I just want to let you guys know, all of you right now with us right now, that we will be having a time sales just for all the training attendees. So from now all the way to 6 p.m., we will be having a 20% off Pro Tools and or Prop Points. Okay, so basically today we'll be touching on Inspector. Inspector is one of the tools that you'll be able to access when you have a Pro Tools subscription. Okay, so you can see whether you want a 1 year or 2 year subscription, and also this would be applicable for those of you who are renewing if your account is expiring within the next 3 months. Okay, of course, for those of you with prop points, you can top up your prop points anytime. Okay, so just contact your assigned account manager if you need more details. And also, I would like to take the time to share a little bit on a new product that we have. It is called EdgeProp Plus. So basically what we have here are virtual tours of quite a number of show flats at the moment. Okay, so basically the developer has appointed us to do virtual tours for their respective show flats. Okay, so if let's say you're keen to find out which are the virtual tours that we have, you can check it out by scanning the QR code on the top. We have over 20 virtual tours at the moment, and also we have live virtual tours. Okay, so the live one basically you would have a industry professional, It could be the developer's representative or even the project ICs who would be going through the show flat with you. Okay, so in fact right now we have live going on at the moment, but there are different sessions for different projects and all that, so do check it out by scanning the QR code at the bottom. Okay, so this is basically the new product that we have, and let's get started on Inspector. So I have just two slides on Inspector, but most of it will be on the using the live website, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so I'm assuming that you guys are logged in already. With your Pro Tools account, you will be able to access the tool called Inspector. Okay, so all you need to do is click on the Tools button on the top of our main website, EdgeProp.sg, and look for the very first tool called Inspector. Okay, this is under the Paid Tools section, and Inspector, basically, if you read the description, it is the tool to inspect landed, but actually all properties as well. So let me just go through how you can use Inspector for all the different property types. Okay. So once you are on Inspector, first and foremost, you will notice that it is a map tool. So if you see on my screen right now, we have the different kind of maps. There is a bar on the top left-hand corner, which shows you things like map, one map, the landlord, landed, the master plan, 08, 14, and 19, as well as the building height. So when you toggle through all these different type of maps, you would be able to see different kind of information. So for example, landlord, you'll be able to see the TS and the Mukim number. Okay. Landed would be for the landed planning area. So if you are doing landed, this is very useful for you. We have the 3 master plans. So what is useful is when you toggle between the 3, you would be able to see some slight differences immediately. Okay, and then lastly, we have the building height, which is for areas with special height control. I'll come to that a little bit later. Okay, now, so going back to the one map that we are using by default. Okay, what I need you to do is to look for the search bar below and key in the address. So I'm going to do a sample of different kind of properties. We will start with landed first. So if let's say you are a landed agent and you like to have information about a particular plot of landed property, what you need to do is to key in the house number followed by the street name. Okay, why is it necessary for you to key in the house number? It is because we are inspecting that particular plot of land. So we're not looking at the street only, we're zooming down to that plot of land. Okay, so you would notice that once you click on the once you key in the address, you'll see the drop down, and usually it will be the same. Okay, okay, so now just basically click on the drop down and it will load the particular landed property. Do take note, sometimes the drop down may not exactly be the same. Okay, sometimes it will be Kampong Glam Conservation Area, it could be Serangoon Garden Estate. It is okay. It just means that that particular address that you key in belongs to an estate or it belongs to a certain conservation area. Okay, so remember, always click on the drop down to load the particular plot of land. Oh, Doreen, top QR code blocked by my image. No, okay, no worries. Later I will shift it, then you guys can scan it again, okay? And Jeanette, how do we get to this screen again? Jeanette, if you want to get to Inspector, you need to mouse over Tools, and you'll be able to find Inspector. Okay, it's right under Paid Tools. Okay. Now, so back to this plot of land, I have keyed in 61 Duchess Road. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So there's a plus minus button which allows you to zoom in to more detail for that plot of land. So immediately on the top here, you would see that number 61 is highlighted by the perimeter, okay, and you can see that there's this a certain length for each part of the perimeter. So this is basically the land dimensions. We take it from different government sources, okay, different government agencies, SLA, URA, and all that. So do take note that for this land dimension, use it as a guide because there is a 1 meter discrepancy between different government agencies. So at the end of the day, if you do want to use this land dimension for the purpose of maybe subdivision of land, okay, then you must actually double check with the lawyer for the final dimensions that they have in their document, okay, very important. Okay, next thing is, once you key in the address, immediately you will know that, oh, this is a 2-story detached with swimming pool, okay. So sometimes maybe you have a client calling you and they're like, oh, I want to sell my house at 61 Duchess Road, and you might be wondering, I don't even know what this house is. Is it a detached, semi-D, terrace? What is the size? What is the specs? So this is the perfect place for you to come to. Just key in the address and you will know most of the details here. Okay, so we have the master plan zoning, land area, GFA, architect, contractor, completed. Do take note, these 4 over here may or may not be available. Okay, it depends on whether this particular landed property is newly built or not. Okay, so if it was built in the last 10 years or so, you should have this portion here. But anything earlier, you will not have it, okay? Because the older building, older landed properties, it is actually not required by, at that point in time, for them to submit to the government agency. Okay, now next thing is we have this shortcut to research. Okay, so research is our home report. If you mouse over tools, you will see one of the tool called research. So it brings you to the home report, and sometimes you may even have more than one research option. So for landed, you can see that I may have one for the road or the street name. So in this instance, Duchess Road landed. I may also have one that is for the estate. So if happen that this particular street or road belongs to an estate, you will have another option for the report for the entire estate, not just for the street only. Okay, and of course, if there are any recent transactions, it will be indicated under latest sales. Okay, now next thing would be the planning decisions below. These are planning decisions from URA. You can see that we will show you up to the last 10 of it, and you have the date, and beside the date, very important, okay, take note, beside the date you will see something called written permission. That means to say the government, okay, the URA, has given this person who submitted this proposal an approval to proceed. Okay, so in this case, you can see that maybe the contractor for this particular landed property submitted to URA to say, I propose to break it into 2 pieces of land. I propose to do A and A works, okay? And URA in turn have given them a written permission to say, yes, please go ahead. Okay, what happens when URA says no, cannot proceed? Okay, instead of written permission, you will see another notice called notice of refusal. Later, when I show you other property types, you would be able to see the notice of refusal. I'll highlight it again, okay? So basically for landed property, very common, you will see new erection of building, subdivision of land, A and A works. These are most common for landed property. Okay. Now, next thing, let's look at this section here. So on the top, I have mouse over the landed map here. This is actually the landed planning area. So when you click on this, it will show you the entire profile of the area, not just that particular house that you selected per se. So this 61 Duchess Road is part of the 2-story semi-D demarcation. But you can also see in the area we have 3-story semi-D, GCB, mixed landed, and so on and so forth. Okay, so maybe if let's say you are serving a client and the client is happy with this area, but they don't want a 2-story semi-D. Maybe from here you would be able to advise them. Actually, if you move a few streets away, if you want a 3-story semi-D, it will be this section instead. Okay, so this is something you can have a look. Okay, now if I toggle to master plan, let me just use master plan 2019. So same thing, you will notice that the 61 Duchess Road, the address that I key in is highlighted. Do take note, okay? So master plan, we have the what's this thing called? The legend on the top here. Okay, right beside the bars of all the maps. The 3-line button, that is your legend. When you click on it, it will show you or explain to you what all these is about. Okay, so what is the land used for? What is the plot ratio, etc. Okay, now just to highlight to you guys, for landed property, there is no such thing as plot ratio. Okay, because landed, you follow a different set of rules. So if you want to know how many stories, refer to the landed map, okay, instead of the master plan. Okay, now let's go back to one map and let me show you another property type. Okay, let me bring you to a shopping mall. Okay, let's go to Lucky Plaza. Okay, so same thing, key in the address or the project name and click on the drop down here. Okay, so there will be a drop down, you can click on the drop down. Okay, I see that for Ivy Drive, you cannot find the master plan. Can you see the rest of the buttons? Can you see master plan 0814 and all that, or is it everything cannot see? Let us know, okay? Because there is a certain setting that you might have to follow, especially if you are on Safari. Okay, so those of you who are on Safari, you might not see the full map bar on the top. You need to adjust the settings. Look for your account manager, they'll be able to assist you with that. Okay, now, okay, so we are now at Lucky Plaza. Okay, okay, the information on the top here will be slightly different because this is a commercial property. So you can see here under research, this one I have 2 types. So basically Lucky Plaza, you also have residential on top of the shopping mall, in case you didn't know that. Okay, so for residential property, you will also see the tower view. Okay, if you are looking at apartment condos, you would see the option for tower view, the latest sales. And what I want to highlight to you for this under the retail section, okay, retail property or commercial property, is that most of the time under the planning decisions, you would see things like for the change of use. So if you look at all the different planning decisions here, it would highlight the unit number and also what is it going to be used for. Okay, massage establishment, karaoke, amusement park, etc. So now this is the one that I was talking about earlier. If URA chooses not to approve a certain change of use, you will be able to see it here as well. Okay, so in this case, the karaoke was rejected. So why is this important? If you happen to have a client also looking at Lucky Plaza, also thinking of doing karaoke, don't waste your time here anymore, because apparently someone else who tried it already got rejected. So the chances of you getting an approval for the same use would be very low, okay? Because, I mean, someone already tried it, okay? So this is one way to save you time and effort, because for those of you familiar with commercial industrial properties, the change of use does take some time, and it also costs your tenant or your buyer some money to actually seek approval from URA, okay? So this is a retail property. Also showing you industrial, very similar, okay, for industrial property. Same thing, you can either select the estates or you can put in the address. So let's say I do this one, vertex, okay. So over here, you can see that I have the property research for industrial and commercial because there are some shops in vertex, okay. And then we also have the research for the entire street. So you can see there's different kinds of report that you can generate. And under planning decisions, similar to retail just now, it will indicate the unit number and what is it used for. So most of it would be for change of use, you can see here. So this one, you see, there is also another notice of refusal. Somebody tried to use the unit for retail, okay? Now, next thing, let's look at the HDB. Okay, so just now we went through landed, we went through commercial, industrial. Let's take a look at HDB. Okay. Okay, so I keyed in 697 Hougang Street 61. This is basically the full address of this particular HDB block. Okay. What is interesting is we have the HDB ethnic and SPR quota. Take note, when you see a cross, for example, Chinese, there is a cross here. Do not be so happy or sad because Chinese can buy or cannot buy. Okay, do you all know can buy or cannot buy? Okay, take note. Unlike HDB website or app where you have to key in the ethnic of the buyer and seller, over here we only key in the address. So when you see a cross over here, it does not mean that what Chinese confirm cannot buy. The answer is maybe, because if the buyer and seller is both the same ethnic, they would still be able to buy. So in this case, if they are both Chinese, yes, they can still buy. So take note that it is not applicable if the buyer and seller are from the same ethnic. Of course, if you see a green tick, it is good to go. These ethnics definitely can buy. Okay. So we also have the latest sales and the planning decisions. For HDB, especially the older ones, very common you would see things like this. So we have the home improvement program as well as the interim and leave upgrading program. Now, we won't be able to tell you whether that particular unit paid for the upgrading or not, okay? But if you do see a date that is very recent, so obviously in this case, it's already 5 years, 5 years away, so there should be no issue here. But if you see a very recent date, you might want to double check with your buyer or seller whether they have paid for it already or not, or whether the buyer is willing to pay for it. Okay, so this is something that just a good reminder for you guys to check whether there's any upgrading going on. Okay, another thing is when you are on the map itself. So I keyed in this particular block, but very often if you are serving buyers, okay, if you are serving buyers, they would be looking at the vicinity, okay? So instead of using the HDB website or app, which you have to key in block by block to check the ethnic quota, all you need to do here is just to click on the different blocks, okay? So you can interact with the map itself. So I just clicked on 690 and now I have the ethnic quota for 690. Okay, and then now let me click on 699 and I will have the ethnic quota for 699. Okay, so this is something that would be very useful for you, especially if you are serving buyers. It would save you quite a bit of time. Now, another thing is, if for those of you who might be asking, HDB ethnic and SPR quota, we pull this information directly from HDB. It will be updated as per HDB's update. Okay, so once they update, it will be reflected here. Cindy, can I explain the X for Chinese again? Yes, good. that you are asking on this. Let me just repeat one more time. So let's say I am looking at block 697. I see a cross here. Okay. When you see a cross, take note that if both buyer and seller are of the same ethnic, then they still can buy. Okay, because unlike the HDB website, we did not put in the buyer and seller's ethnic. Okay, so therefore, if we won't know who is buying, who is selling per se. Okay, so if you know that buyer and seller are of the same ethnic, definitely they would be able to buy because there's a one-for-one exchange. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I answered most of it already. Okay. Next thing that I want to share, okay, another unique property information would be if you are searching for shop houses. So same thing, shop houses, you need to put in the house number, okay, with the house number. So in this case, I am keying in 51 Haji Lane. So I don't just put Haji Lane, I must put in the house number. And if the drop down is different, it is okay. It just happens to be that 51 Haji Lane is part of the Kampong Glam Conservation Area. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the drop down here. Okay, so for this is a shop house. Let me scroll to the bottom. So if the drop down is not exactly the same, it just means that Haji Lane, this 51 Haji Lane is part of this conservation area. And when you look at the research, you will have the report for the entire conservation area in addition to just this one, the street alone. Okay, and when you look at the latest sales also, it will consist of the entire conservation area. So you can see there's Arab Street, North Bridge Street as well. Okay, now here only for shop houses we will have the approved and the allowable use. Okay, this is very interesting. Let's look at approved use first. So basically now we see that on the first floor there is a restaurant. Okay, and there is an approval date and no expiry date. So today, if let's say this existing restaurant, maybe their tenancy ended and somebody else wants to take over as restaurant again, what you know is that confirm can use as restaurant, and this person taking over will not need to pay for any change of use, or they do not need to apply for change of use. Okay. On the other hand, if you look at the second floor, okay, the second floor is a shop, bracket, beauty salon. Now, if today, so let's see, the expiry date, this one has an expiry date on the 6th of June 2020, so very, very soon. So if you have a tenant that wants to take over this beauty salon moving forward, okay, what happens is, firstly, they need to reapply for the extension of this usage. Okay, so you cannot say confirm can use as beauty salon. They need to reapply with URA to make sure that URA says, okay, you can continue to use it as a beauty salon because there's an expiry date. Secondly, when they apply, they will still need to pay for the application fee. Okay, so take note on this. Of course, if you already see that it is a beauty salon, it will be a high chance that you can still continue to use it as a beauty salon. Okay, now next thing would be the allowable use. So very easy for you to remember is when you look at the outcome, we have three colors here: green, yellow, and red. Okay, so if you see the green one is like your traffic light like that, green color confirm, more or less can go ahead. Okay, the yellow ones are the ones that you must submit to URA for approval, so submit for evaluation, and the red ones are the ones that confirm you cannot use it for that purpose. Okay, so why is it it's not 100% for green color? Maybe you want to use it as a shop, but what kind of shop? Maybe if it is something that a bit more gray area one, then you might be still rejected even though you see a tick here. Okay, but in most cases it will be allowed lah. Okay. Now next thing for the planning decisions. For shop houses, you would see that if there's any submissions, it will be for the different stories. Okay, so we look from the bottom downwards, upwards. Okay, because the timeline is from newest to oldest. Okay, so firstly, we see that the shop on the first floor, okay, was converted to a cafe. Okay, so now it is a cafe. That's why the usage is actually restaurant. Okay. Then on the second floor, it was converted from office to fitness center. Okay. And you look at the date. About 1 year later, the fitness center moved out and the beauty salon went in. Okay. And very interestingly, 1 year later, so 6 June, 20th June 18 and 2018 and then 2019. Now this one is an extension, okay, of the temporary permit, okay, extension of the temporary permit for change of use. So they continue the use as beauty salon. Okay, so you would be able to see the full history in this case. Now, Cindy, no, you will not be able to use it for HDB shop houses. You will only be able to do it for private shop houses. Okay. Now, so all these are the different property types that when you put in, you get slightly different information. For apartment condo, okay, what is most useful would also be the planning decisions. So example, I key in Amber Park, okay. When you look at the planning decisions, so for those of you who might be aware, Amber Park was en bloc, and then they rebuilt it, now for sale, which is also named as Amber Park, okay. So I just want you guys to take a look at the planning decision here. So over here, when the developer submits to URA to say that I want to build X number of blocks, how many units, these are the facilities that I want to put in, you will see it here, okay. So this means to say, if you are doing new launches with this information here, because they got an approval from URA, you can already start doing your marketing. Okay, so whether it's on portals or on maybe your social media or Google Ads, all these, you can already start by collecting leads with this little bit of information here. Okay, so just for those of you who might not be aware, sometimes this information comes before your agency announcement and before your developers announcement. So this is very good for you to beat everyone and quickly collect your leads first. Okay, now another thing that I want to highlight is this little yellow man on the bottom right. Okay, so what you can do here is drag and drop. Okay, so where can you drop him? You can drop him anywhere along the blue color outline, that means along the street. Okay, or if you see the blue color circle, you can also drop him on the circle. Let me show you the difference. So let's say I'm doing landed, okay, and happens to be in this area. I want to drop him along this street. I can actually move along the street per se. Okay, so this is 66 Jalan Seaview. You can see the address on the top left hand corner, and with this arrow you would be able to move along the street. Okay, as you move, the address will also adjust accordingly. So you can also shift the angle, okay, and also move along the street. Okay, do take note, of course, if you're doing landed, please don't take photo or please don't take a screenshot of that house that you are marketing, because landed very sensitive. Okay, you don't want other agents to know which house you are marketing. But you might want to take a photo of the street, of the surrounding amenities. So either you do a screenshot, that will be useful. You can put it in your listings as well. Okay. Another one, so to go back, just click on the arrow on the top left hand corner. It will bring you back to the back. Okay, let me pull this little yellow man again. So like I mentioned, you can put him along the street. You can also put him in the blue color circle. So I'm just going to drop him into this one here. So, what happens is you are now in Imperial Treasure, which happens to be nearby lah. Okay, so when you see a blue color circle, you can actually drop into the building. Okay, so apparently this portion is Imperial Treasure, and you can even sort of walk out of the building. Very interesting. Some of you might not uh, know there's such a function. This function is a Google Map function. Okay, it is not a Google Street View function. Okay, it is not done by EdgeProp. So if let's say you happen to know there's such a function and you want to know how their ballroom looks like, you can actually drop him here. Okay, very interesting. Just take note. Okay, so if I go back here, just take note. All these over here, you can drop into public area only, public mall, public hotels, public areas. Okay, but cannot drop into people's house. Okay, so you don't want to see people bathing in the middle of nowhere, so no, cannot. Okay, another thing is, take note that all these under the Google Street View, which is the little yellow man, it is not real time. Okay, sometimes maybe they haven't, they unblock it already, they tear it down, but you still see the old building. Okay, Terrence, what does the dimension around the land of Amber Park mean? Dimensions is basically the land dimensions. So if you want to know how long is this part of the land, it is 154 meters about. Okay? And then of course this side, the length of the land is 174 meters. Okay? So land dimensions is more useful for landed property. For the other property types, I don't think you guys would use it very much. Yeah. Okay. So with that, I think more or less I have touched already, except for this one, building height. Okay. So let's go to. Let me click building height here. Okay. So if you click on building height, in most cases you will see that there's barely anything. Okay. It's just a black and white. White background with black outline. But in areas with special height control, let's say I'm going to Dhoby Ghaut area, okay, Dhoby Ghaut MRT, you would see something different. Okay, so all these locations here are buildings with special height control. Why special? Okay, first and foremost, how do you read all these? Same thing, we have the legend on the top, right beside MP 2019, okay, somewhere in the center. The 3-line button, that is your legend. Okay, it will tell you how many stories it can build and all the different legend details lah. Okay, now if you click out, think about it. This is Dhoby Ghaut area. Why would there be a special height control? Anyone can tell me? Dhoby Ghaut area. Okay, so only areas with special height control, then you will see all these numbers and highlightings appear. Okay, let me just give you the answer. I don't want to wait. Okay, so for Dhoby Ghaut area, it is because of the Istana. Okay, so the buildings cannot look into the Istana, and therefore there is a height control. Of course, depending on which part it is, some would be higher, some would be lower. Okay, so of course, if you want to know how high all the buildings for residential or not in the area, you need to refer to the master plan plot ratio to know the stories, or landed if you're looking at landed property. Yeah. So this is pretty much it for inspector. Let me just answer some questions on Q&A. If any of you have any questions for me right now on inspector, let me know on live chat. Meanwhile, for the rest of you, please go to menti.com, www.menti.com, and use the code 902299. Okay, so we'll just play a little quiz here to make sure all of you know what's going on. Okay, and so that I can clarify if there's any one who might not be too clear on what is supposed to be the case. Just 5 questions. For those of you, the top 5 person, okay, who win this quiz would be able to win yourself a reusable cutlery set, okay, worth $12.90. We will mail it to you. Even during this circuit period, we will send it to you, okay? So what you need to do, join us here. And then after that, if you win, if you're the top 5%, remember to take a photo of your screen with your icon and your name, and reach out to your account managers. We will send you your gift. Okay, let me see if there's more questions. What are the 10, 12 number mean? Cindy, that is the building height. Okay, so if you toggle to the map building height, that the number there is the number of stories. You can actually click on the legend button to see more details lah. Okay, and how to consolidate print PDF with dimension. Okay, we don't have a solution for you for that one. So the only way, if you want to capture the information from inspector, you need to do screenshot. Okay, so if for me, what I do is I download a tool which allows me to screenshot the entire page. That might help. Okay, so just search online, you should be able to find something like that. If not, you have to capture by portions lah. Okay, so we have 75% here right now. Is there anyone else still joining us? Quite a big crowd today. This will be quite fun. Okay, so we have 80 now. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Okay, 5 questions. Fastest fingers first. Of course, you must get it correct. Now, first one, can you use inspector for which property type can you use inspector for? HDB, apartment condo, landed, commercial, industrial, or everything? Ayoyo! Why still got people get it wrong one? So you can use it for everything. Maybe you haven't read the last option there. Okay. So if you have been through the entire training with me, I have done a sample of all the different property types. Just that different property type, you get sometimes you get slightly different kind of information. Okay. But most of you got it right. Well done. Let's see who's leading right now. We have Serene on the top, followed by KO. Why KO? And then we have a laughing cat. We have George, Vote Good, someone called Fastest but not the fastest. What is WH? Oh, WH. Familiar. Okay, then we have Susan, Jenica Teo, and Avenger. Okay, some of you notice, even you got it right, you need to be faster. Then you can get more points. Okay, now let's see the next question. Still got chance to be top 5. Planning decisions taken from where? I repeat a lot of times. So we take information from different government agencies depending on what is the information that we're getting lah. Okay, so planning decisions, where did we get it from? Which agency? Okay, good. Most of you got it right. It is URA, okay? Urban planning. So anything to do with planning would be URA. Okay, let's see who is leading now. There's a change in the names already. Now we have KO leading, followed by Vote Good. Oh, sorry, haven't jumped already. WH followed by Avenger, followed by Vote Good, Peter, Susan. Okay. Still got chance, Let's see the next question. Oh, last option did not appear, Ayo, sorry. But how did those people select, Okay, you can obtain approved and allowable use. We went through this just now. For what kind of property type? Oh, this one very tricky. Okay, so I did a sample for Lucky Plaza, which is retail. Did you see the approved and allowable use? Don't have. Okay. only for private shophouses. Just now someone also asked about HDB shophouse. So HDB shophouse we don't have. Only private shophouses you have the first story, second story, and then what you use it for. For commercial retail, maybe if let's say you're talking about a mall, we won't identify the approved and allowable use per se. Just that you can see under the planning decisions what people have submitted for and whether was it approved or not. Okay, whether it is written permission or notice of refusal. Okay, next question. Let's see who is leading first. Okay, so there's some changes to the names, I think. Okay, on the top we still have WH followed by Avenger, Vote Goat, Susan, and Ben. Okay. So, across for a particular ethnic means that this ethnic cannot buy this HDB block, correct or wrong? Anyone can remember? If you see a cross for, say, Malay, does that mean Malay cannot buy? Still got so many people got it wrong. Why like that? Okay. Remember, if you see, let me just toggle back. I just want to highlight this. Important. Okay. Okay. So, if you look at Chinese here, you see a cross at the end, right? But if buyer and seller is both Chinese, they still can buy because there's a 1-for-1 exchange. So still they would meet the ethnic quota, okay? So the answer is false. Maybe can buy. Okay, maybe can buy. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Anyone? Oh, Vote Goat went up. Ben went up. SW, Mars, and Gary. So you notice one wrong question, you can be from the top drop to the bottom. Okay. I think this should be the last question now. The little yellow man icon. Remember, I pull it out, I drop him somewhere. You can see how the location looks like. Is it real time? Or is it maybe captured a certain time and then they put it up? Wow, also half, very bad. Almost half of you got it wrong. Okay, the answer is it is not real time. Okay, so sometimes if you drop the little yellow man at that particular street, it could be that the building was already en bloc, they tore it down, but it still shows the old building. Okay, or maybe they repainted that HDB, but it still shows the old color. It is possible. They did not do it real time. So do take note. So like just now when we went into Imperial Treasure, that it is not real time. Maybe there is someone inside now, but in our screen there isn't anyone. Okay, so take note. So this should be the last of it already. Let's see who are our top 5 winners today. Today's questions not so easy. Must really answer properly. So number 1, we have Vote Goat. Congrats. We have Ben, WH, Peter, and Fastest. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the 5 of you, please screenshot your own screen. Don't screenshot my screen. Your own screen with your icon and the number of points. Okay. And we will get back to you with your gift, your lucky draw gift today. Okay, not really lucky draw, quiz. Okay. So with that, I will end today's training. But before that, let me just quickly refresh our promo today. Okay. So our promo today is the 20% off for all of you training attendees. So most of you still stayed all the way. So very good. do take note that it'll be 20% off all the way until 6 p.m. today. And also, if you don't have any more questions for me, thank you everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. All right. Thank you everyone. So goodbye and see you guys tomorrow. I think is it tomorrow? Yeah. We still have one more session on Thursday, which is tomorrow, for one more topic. Okay, before we end April. Okay. And also take note, if let's say you would like to find out more about our training, we will have a new series of training scheduled for for May. Okay, so check out our events page for details. All right, thank you everyone. Goodbye.